internet. Today we are discussing perfumes, fragrances, the love of my life in liquid form. So I'm going to share today my perfume collection that I have been collecting years and years because I am such a freaking hoarder. If you grew up with an Asian immigrant mother, you are definitely a hoarder, and that is me. So I pretty much kept every single bottle of perfume I ever bought, received as a gift. I just never throw it away. So it is kind of a problem. In this video I thought it would be nice to share like a quick 10-second summary of each perfume. Also, I want to give you like a character or an image or a person that I think embodies that perfume. Sometimes I feel like that almost gives you a better sense of the perfume than describing like the base note, the middle note, and the top note. I feel like when you put on perfume, you're channeling kind of like a main character energy. Like you want to channel a specific type of person, but sometimes channeling a main character energy requires a main character budget, which is where Dossier comes in. The sponsor of today's video is Dossier, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, oh my god, another chick on YouTube talking about some random brand, but I actually really do like this brand. So Dossier reproduces classic, high-end, timeless, luxury perfumes at a fraction of its price so that you can channel your Marilyn Monroe or your Daisy from Great Gatsby with a fraction of the price and without their fortune. For example, their Ambery Cherry is basically, it smells exactly the same as Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, and Tom Ford's Lost Cherry retails for up to like $500, and this is only $49. I'm honestly mind blown by this. Also, I got your guys' back. To further reduce the cost, I have a link and discount code down below, KathyDing10 for 10% off. Now let me stop rambling and let's get into the video. I'm gonna start with my favorite scent category, which is smoky or woody. The first perfume that I have is the Maizon Margiela Replica perfume in Jazz Club, and oh my god, this is my go-to perfume every time I go out at night now. It's described as the exquisite aroma of a glass of amber rum created by rum absolute and vanilla beans. The elegant bouquet of premium cigars captured in a mix of tobacco leaf absolute and pink pepper. Okay, who the fuck writes these? Because they're freaking amazing. I hate the smell of like tobacco or smoking, but this does not smell like it at all. I imagine where this perfume is like a super sultry lady walking into a jazz bar and she's sitting in a bag. She's wearing this like high slit satin dress with these black stilettos, and it's just perfection. And this is actually surprisingly marketed as a men's perfume, but I think it's totally unisex, and I almost think that the fact that it's marketed as a men's perfume makes it even more kind of like this alluring, mysterious factor. The next perfume I'm going to talk about is actually very similar. It's Rebecca Minkoff by Rebecca Minkoff. It actually also has modernized tobacco accord in it, but it mixes it with more floral notes like jasmine. So it's actually kind of a slightly more feminine sister of Jazz Club, I feel like. A lot of times when I go out, I actually mix the two. So I mix Jazz Club with this if I'm looking for something maybe just like edge more feminine, and in a way this by itself smells more edgy than Jazz Club. Jazz Club is more smooth because it has that creamy like vanilla undertone, where I feel like this is a little bit more sharp because of the floral note. Like this reminds me of like a bold ass fucking boss ass woman in a leather jacket, and it's described for the modern urban women, so I'm not surprised. And the last perfume that I have in this category is Jo Malone's Wood Sage and Sea Salt, and you can tell how much I love this by how little is left, and this is my go-to college perfume. I basically only had this perfume and another Jo Malone perfume that lasted me like all 4 years of college. I actually like rarely purchased perfumes when I was in college because that was like my signature scent. I just kept wearing this over and over. It's such like a, I woke up like this scent. The girl who would wear this, you know, lives by the beach, she's carefree, you know, she has that like sea salt beach hair, has like this like effortless like sea salt hint at the end. This category that I have are like more fruity perfumes. So the first one I'm going to talk about, it is Jo Malone's Blackberry and Bay, and this is the other perfume that I basically wore all 4 years of college. I mix Blackberry and Bay a little bit with Wood Sage and Sea Salt when I want a little bit more oomph, and they mix so well together. I don't know how the lady at the duty-free airport Jo Malone counter sold me on this, but she was like, yeah, no, those two mix really well together, which they do, and I ended up buying both. See, that's big marketing strategy there. This, I would describe it as a very tasteful, fruity fragrance. Only because it smells like juicy blackberries, but it's toned down by notes of bay leaves. I feel like fruity scents can very quickly turn into like Victoria's Secret love spell body spray phase that every single middle school girl has gone through. This to me like feels like a classy girl, but she's also still very playful and fun and youthful. This is exactly who I would describe wearing this perfume. So the next perfume I have is Mon Baklin by YSL, and please excuse my French. I minored in French at college. Now I sound like shit speaking French. Basically means I wasted 4 years of my life. So this is described to have datura flower, red berries, touch of musk, and I think the little bit of musk in this makes it kind of like a fruity night scent, where I feel like most fruity perfumes are more suited for the daytime. This is a very, very sweet scent, but it's not sickly. This gives off like I'm a young, carefree, wild girl celebrating New Year's Eve in Paris in front of the Eiffel Tower, like wearing like a sparkly champagne mini dress with a fruity cocktail in hand. That's exactly what this smells like. It gives me like sparkling strawberry champagne vibes. And the next perfume I'm going to talk about is Dossier's Ambery Cherry, which I basically mentioned in the beginning of the video, and this is actually like, I actually wear this so much now. Like a month or two ago, I walked into Sephora and I really wanted to smell Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, because I honestly love the smell of like cherry and vanilla. Like I love putting it in baking too. But then I looked like at the price, and it was like, the range was from like $300 to $500, and I was like, but this literally smells exactly the same, and it has like really, really good lasting power. I love how it smells fruity, but also so seductive, and I think that's the power of like cherry. Again, going back to fruity scents being more for the daytime, this is actually like a nighttime fruity scent for me, definitely. I picture like a woman wearing like this like dark fuchsia cherry like dress, and she's just so mysterious, alluring, and sexy. So this is basically described as cherry with undernotes of almond, tonka bean, and vanilla. So it definitely has that like creamy, like sultry under base. Next perfume that I have, first of all, look at this bottle. It looks so freaking cute. This is Perfect by Marc Jacobs, and I love the messaging behind this perfume. It was launched as kind of like a self-love perfume. So it has notes of rhubarb and daffodil, almond milk, and cashmere. But honestly, this smells super, super fruity to me. This smells like you're taking like a self-care night off, and you take a bubble bath, you do a face mask, and then you get out of the shower, and then you blast like Taylor Swift's All Too Well. You're dancing like nobody's watching in your New York walk-up in West Village. No, it's a whole movie. That's scripted in my head. Out of all the fruity scents I own, this is probably like the most unapologetically fruity in the best way possible. The last fruity scent is Bella by Vince Camuto. Okay, first of all, again, Vince Camuto is another one of those brands where I'm just like, look at this damn packaging. It's so fucking nice. Like, I feel like half of the reasons why I buy perfume in the first place is like extra decor. This has nectarine blossoms, Italian bergamot, and jasmine water, and it's described more as a warm fruity scent. Nectarine comes through so much. It almost smells like a sophisticated peach scent. When I smell this, I imagine like a woman in her like maybe late 20s, but she's strolling down the streets of New York on like a warm summer day in a sundress. So the next perfume I'm going to talk about, I actually have in sample size, which is byredo's Bibliotech. Being a lover of fragrances, I love candles too, and nothing sells me more on a candle than you telling me it smells like old books in an old library, which is why I picked up the sample, because I wanted to see how this would react with my skin. Let me also read you this description. It says, one spray is enough to bathe in the neck of the atmosphere of a world suspended in time, a world of old books, the scent of their leather-bound pages arranged on dark wood shelf. I actually like Bibliotech better as a candle. For some reason, in perfume form, the leather just doesn't come through as much. I think the other notes in this like come through more and make it almost smell a little too sweet. I'd rather have like a more like smoky, leathery scent. This definitely gives me like dark academia vibes of like, you know, this girl studying in an old library. I think in my personal opinion, it's a little too sweet for what I'm looking for in like an old books perfume, so I probably won't purchase the full size of this. So the next section I'm going to talk about is like this section called Oriental. Like if you actually look at the fragrance wheel, there's all these like different names for all these different scent categories. I basically put this in Oriental because of its notes of vetiver, but this is byredo's About d'Afrique, and oh my god, this smells so good. This is the only perfume I put in this category because it smells so unique. So to me, this smells like a fruity vetiver, and I love the smell of vetiver. I think it's like super like sexy, and it tones down like any sort of fruitiness that you might have in this perfume. It has notes of neroli, African marigold, and Moroccan cedarwood, and this honestly does smell like a luxurious vacation to Morocco. Like I imagine like a girl in a printed maxi dress having the time of her life in Morocco, in the ocean, enjoying a tropical vacation. Like oddly to me, this smells tropical, but not in like a lime and coconut verbena from Bath and Body Works type of way, like in such like a elevated and elegant, sophisticated way. In contrast to Bibliothèque, I feel like this is something that I would save up for and make an investment on the actual perfume. So the next perfume I have is Chance by Chanel in All Fresh. This is actually the most citrusy perfume that I have. This has citron, jasmine, and teakwood. I'm definitely smelling it as like a more refined citrus. It doesn't smell like citrus body spray or pink grapefruit from Bath and Body Works type of vibe. This reminds me of like a young woman walking down the High Line in New York. This smells like very fresh, a very like let me just throw this on type of scent, but it smells really good. So the next perfume I have is Clean Rain. I don't know why people don't talk more about them because they're so underrated. Rain smells so fresh in such an aquatic way. So it's actually described as a marine floral, but I don't smell too much of the floral. It has dewy melon, water lily, and musk, and to me this just smells like you took a fresh dip in a natural waterfall in Hawaii and you just kind of dried off and came out, and that's literally what you smell like now. And the next perfume that I have is also from Clean, and this is in Skin. Skin is honestly so unique because it captures the essence so well of what like someone's natural body odor would smell like if they didn't put anything on. Like I don't even know how they crafted this perfume. This reminds me of when you just like took a shower and you just used shampoo and body wash and you didn't put anything else on after, and then you go and see a friend and they give you a hug and they're like, oh, you smell so good, and you're just like, oh, like I just showered. Like this is what I hope like I smell like every time I come out of the shower. Apparently this smells like lotus blossoms, dewy petals, and creamy vanilla, which I honestly don't smell any vanilla at all. And also, again, I don't know how they crafted this scent, but it smells like just naked humans like skin. So this is the perfect perfume to smell like you showered even when you perhaps have not showered yet. And the next perfume is another Clean perfume because I'm obsessed with them, and this is in Warm Cotton. Warm Cotton was actually the first fragrance that attracted me to this brand like years and years ago because I smelled it and I was like, this smells like laundry detergent, but I love it. This smells like a lazy Sunday morning when you wake up and you're wearing like a white t-shirt and it smells like a hint of laundry detergent because it's freshly washed. Honestly, this is so embarrassing, but I feel like I wear this sometimes on Sundays to get myself get going and doing chores and doing actual laundries because it makes me feel like my life is more put together than it actually is. The next category that I have is actually warm and spicy. First perfume I'm going to talk about is Dossier's Ambery Saffron, and this is basically the exact dupe for Baccarat Rouge, which is, as we all know, one of the most expensive perfumes out there on the perfume market. It's like the luxury of luxury. It's like the Hermes of perfumes. So the reason why I put this in like the warm and spicy category, even though some might say this is like more of a floral, is because of the saffron notes in this. Like this smells more like saffron than anything to me personally, so it's definitely that like spicy warmth that I'm getting. I feel like this perfume is a bit spicy, a bit floral, a bit musky, which makes it confusing as fuck, or as people would say, complex. I think the reason why this perfume gets a lot of questions and compliments is because it's so confusing as fuck. Like nobody has any understanding of what the fuck they're smelling. I would say this is definitely not my everyday scent. Like I would never purchase this, like the actual perfume. Like there's just too much shit going on and I have no idea what's happening, but I feel like some people like that. Like, you know who I think would definitely wear this shit? Anna Delvey from, what is it? Like Finding Anna, Exploring Anna, oh, Inventing Anna. Is that the, I feel like this gives me like I'm a mysterious rich woman type of life. Like this is so complex, like you can't unlock me. Like that is literally the vibes that this perfume brings me. So the next perfume I have in this category is Michael Kors Wanderlust. So Wanderlust is said to have notes of almond milk, dianthus, which is like a clove-like floral, and sandalwood. So what I imagine is like a girl wearing a maxi dress on vacation on the south coast of Italy, and she's just having her arms out, living her best life, watching a sunset. Like this reminds me of a magical sunset vacation because of its warmth. I just made this connection when I'm smelling this right now. This oddly smells like Viva La Juicy by Juicy Couture, the perfume that every single person literally had when they were like growing up. I am mind blown by this connection that I just made. And the last perfume that I have in this category is Guilty by Gucci. This is said to have pink pepper, amber, and patchouli. To me, it smells very powdery, and I typically don't like that, but this smells very powdery and in like a really good way. Like, it reminds me of like a vintage lady from the roaring 20s, like a Daisy from Great Gatsby, where it's just like she's sitting in her powder room and that scent of like old vintage lipstick. Like, this is exactly what this reminds me of. And this is another one of those perfumes that I used a lot for going out. It made me feel like I was getting ready for an awesome night out. So the next scent category that I have is florals, and I typically hate florals because I just can't stand the smell of like super insanely like pure florals. And I was so surprised when I was writing down my list of perfumes how many florals I had. I started realizing that floral used in the right way really works for me rather than having it as like super pungent. So the first perfume I have is Bulgari's Rose Gold Dahlia. This is in Blossom Delight, and first of all, I love this packaging. Like, this ring of like this Tiffany blue with rose gold, perfection. So this is actually a rose scent. This is like a very understated rose. I think the usage of musk in this really helps it blend well and prevent that like headache inducing rose scent for me. This reminds me of like a super sophisticated woman in her like 30s going to like Four Seasons hotel to get afternoon tea. I'm definitely not a wealthy woman in her 30s, but sometimes you just want to channel that vibe, you know? So the next perfume I want to talk about is Tori Burch's Jolie Fleur Levonde, which is basically just pretty lavender flower. Lavender is one of those scents that I actually really enjoy. Basically, it's described to have lavender, peony, and freesia. So it's definitely more traditional floral scents that I typically like stray away from. But I feel like this is more of a floral fresh for me. It's like not overpowering floral, which I really like. This reminds me of like Marc Jacob Daisy, but like tack on like 20-30 years to that in age. Like, this reminds me of like Sunday picnic in Central Park. So the next perfume that I have is Chance by Chanel, and this time in Automne. Totally just butchered that. This scent, despite having notes of floral, doesn't smell floral to me at all. This is again one of the scents where I just can't tell what the fuck it smells like because it just smells good. So according to the website, because I can't figure this one out, it has notes of green and fruity grapefruit, jasmine, white musk. I think the only thing that I can smell is like white musk, which is what I like about this, because this is more of like a light musk perfume than a floral. Not gonna lie, I low-key have a little bit of PTSD when I smell this because I pretty much wore this to every single college job interview that I had, so it's a little traumatizing. This reminds me of like a girl in her early 30s, like this classy working girl in an urban city, very tasteful, cultured, sophisticated, and she doesn't want anything too overpowering. So the next perfume I have is Jador Infinisma by Dior. This is definitely more of a warm floral scent, and it has notes of bergamot, jasmine, and sandalwood. And honestly, I am not the biggest fan of this. I don't like florals when they're overpowering, and because this is a more of a warm floral, I feel like florals for me work better with like more fresh notes in it because it like tones it down by a lot. But when you combine it with like more warm notes, it just amplifies the floralness a little bit more. Like, this reminds me of like rich grandma vibe. And the next perfume is the original Jador by Dior, and this I fucking love. Like, this is also floral, but definitely not as heavy. And I think the reason behind this is they use ylang ylang. I feel like every time I say ylang ylang, I just feel like I'm saying a tongue twister. It's described more as a fruity floral, even though this doesn't smell fruity at all, but it helps like tone it down a bit. This has ylang ylang, rose, and jasmine. I feel like it's a little bit more fresh. Infinisma, but take like 50 years off the age. I feel like this reminds me of like a fancy woman in her late 20s and she's wearing like a little black dress. So the next perfume that I have is Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel. It is said to have grapefruit, rose, jasmine, and lychee, surprisingly. So it's like a fruity floral, but I honestly don't smell any of the fruitiness. Also not like overpowering floral either. Like, this is another one of those perfumes where the blend of the two creates something like so like interesting. This smells very young but also like very classy. It's kind of like a girl in a coming in age movie. It's like, it reminds me of like this girl who's like finding herself in Paris and she's like going to fashion school. So the next perfume that I have is a Vince Camuto in Brilliant. This perfume smells so fucking good. It is described as a musky floral. This oddly to me smells exactly like white tea. You know when you like accidentally stumble into like a fancy luxury hotel's lobby and you smell like the scent that they use, and it's like this tea smelling luxury scent. This is what this smells like. So it's said to have pear, black currant, gardenia, jasmine, orange blossom, white cedar, and cashmere wood. This is another one of this perfume that reminds me of a classy lady going to like afternoon tea. Also, again, killing it with the packaging. Look at how beautiful this is. The next perfume I have is Fleur De Jong by Miu Miu. I think this is my most traditionally straightforward floral smelling perfume. So this is said to have notes of musk, akigala wood, and tuberose, and I think the tuberose is what kind of ruins it for me. I think tuberose is another one of those floral scents where it kind of gives me a headache a little. I hardly wear this perfume, but you know, how can you throw this away when this packaging looks like this? Hoarder will keep everything, especially when it's a gift from a friend. It's the heart that counts. The next perfume is also from Camuto, and it is in Illuminate. This is a really nice fruity floral, and it has a little bit of musk, which helps tone down both the fruitiness and the floralness. So this is said to have plum blossom, bergamot, magnolia, and amber musk, and this smells perfect for like a young professional girl in the office on a Friday, because it's a very professional scent, but it's still a very fun scent. The next perfume I have is Romance by Ralph Lauren, and this is such like a beautiful, understated, like mature floral. It smells like a nice evening romantic Valentine's Day with your partner, but I see this more for like a woman who has been in a long-term committed relationship, even like married. It's not that kind of like sexy, alluring, like hello first date perfume, but this has more of a mature romantic scent, and it smells like true commitment. So this is said to mainly have mandarin essence, pink pepper, and white violet leaves. So I think it's very sophisticated. Definitely this is one of those scents that I can see myself wearing more and more as I get older. Alright guys, that's a wrap for this long video of me rambling about expensive liquids. Hopefully providing like an image or a character of a person who would wear this can help you better make purchasing decisions. If you like more content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would literally mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and until next time, bye guys.